Welcome to Finding My True Love channel. I'm Taquan. This should be, well, I kind of lost count. I'm not sure which day, which video. It's maybe like video 30 something, or around like day 70 of me finding my true love. So I wanted to talk about fairy tales. My favorite, some of my favorite fairy tales, and what does that have to do with me finding my true love? So I grew up a 90s kid, watching the classic Disney movies like Hercules, Aladdin, and even some of the older fairy tales like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and so it's hard for me to say, but I guess my favorite fairy tale would have been Aladdin. It was just, I've always been a lover, and I guess I was a romantic kid, so I always found that movie romantic. And I like Cinderella, like the princess. So I guess my favorite fairy tale princesses probably are Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. But I had a connection, felt a connection with the Aladdin character, this poor kid who somehow became a prince, or who wanted to be a prince, and fell in love with this princess. And even the song, A Whole New World, flying away on this magic carpet, the monkey. I always liked the monkey characters like Curious George, the monkey from Speed Racer. Anyway, so I just saw myself kind of like Aladdin, or even Hercules. But I didn't like, I was a good kid. I didn't like how it ended in Hercules. Yeah, because at the end, he wanted to go back to Earth with the humans. And I was like, what? Why don't you go to this glorious place above the skies? So I knew that, even though I was a wise kid, I knew something was wrong about the fairy tales, but I also had a lot of faith, and I believed that it would be real and that I could be a part of a fairy tale. I could find some type of true love like the prince and the princess do in the fairy tales. And as far as Hercules, I thought he was, started out kind of humble, and he had a gift of strength. So I liked how the characters, they were like normal guys like me, but they had some type of gift. But most women and females today, they're looking for muscles and stuff like that. And they're not looking for a gifted, like a spiritually gifted or noble, prince. Like if you look at the Sleeping Beauty prince, it says when he was about to slay the dragon, you will slay the dragon with the sword of righteousness and honor and justice, something like that. But this modern day society has turned it into, Prince Charming, this arrogant prince that's staring in the mirror all day, who has all of these fancy clothes, and he's just some type of hunk, and not like the the poor, innocent, just normal guy who just desires to live a good life, get out of poverty, or just love a princess, love I don't want to say beautiful in a vain way, but an adorable princess who has good qualities. Like Cinderella, she wasn't arrogant, or shallow like most women today. So I felt a connection with that, and that's how I wanted to live my life growing up, with this hope, like hopeless romantic hope of finding true love. So I don't know, I guess Aladdin and that movie, probably one of my favorite fairy tales. Now here's the thing. The Bible, believe it or not, and most people wonder like, is the Bible, is it a fairy tale? Oh, it's not real, it's a fairy tale. It's just fantastical, all of this fake stuff. It's not real. Now, the Bible, you look at the Bible as a historical book. In the Bible, God calls men, just regular men, the sons of men, princes. And we can trace back all of the, the lineage of men, of kings and princes. Hey, you may even find, your ancestors were kings. And the towns, the cities were named after the kings. The kings were the city. And, it's traced all the way back, the entire lineage from Adam. So from that regard, there's some truth into it. And it's true love in it that most people don't understand. They get confused because this world doesn't know love. And the true love we've seen as far as the Prince of Peace, Christ. And here's the thing about the fairy tales. Have you ever noticed why it's all about the princesses? And have you ever noticed why the prince, in most of the original fairy tales, the prince was never named, doesn't have a name, it's just Prince. Not even Prince Charming, Prince. So, if you look at the fairy tales in the Bible, side by side, pretty much most or all of the terms are found in the Bible. Unicorns, dragons, witches, magicians, wonders, things turning into, like snake being turned into a staff, or staff turned into a snake, giants like Jack and the Beanstalk, so on and so forth. So it comes from everything that is true has been seemingly turned into a lie. You've been cultured, dumbed down, conditioned, programmed to receive and accept what you've been given to you. But if we look back and trace history and trace the truth, and if you think about it from a fairy tale perspective, in this quote-unquote real world, there's a lot of evil, and evil always wants to hide itself as being good, and always wants to take what's good and turn it into something totally different. So the Bible has been turned into fairy tales, which is why people call it a fairy tale and not real. And they've made fairy tales with biblical terminologies, biblical, like kind of like a biblical antichrist perspective. That, oh, this prince is going to save the day. That's supposed to be Jesus. And oh, this princess is being chased by this dragon. Well, you look in the book of Revelations, there's the quote-unquote bride of Christ, 144,000, being threatened by this dragon and this beast and the mark of the beast, all of that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's real because it's the truth is the truth. You know, it's not, the truth isn't a question. It's not a matter of belief. The truth is the truth. It's not a question of whether it's real or not. The question is, who and why have you been deceived and lied to? And as far as fairy tales and the actual Bible, call the Bible your fairy tale, but it's real, it's true. Everything just about, and you know, in all the mythical creatures, you know, they have all these crazy looking creatures. Is Satan playing God, trying to recreate his own little reality? All the creatures that you see in the fairy tales, like, you know, regular creatures, well, they're the animals. Animals are creatures, are God's creatures. And, I mean, they're all different kinds of animals that are just, like, fantastical to me. They're crazy. It's amazing. So, the Bible is like, you know, this real fairy tale. It's real. The Bible is real. And, the princess, because there's only supposed to be, like in the beginning it was Adam and Eve for Adam. There's only supposed to be one princess for one prince. Now this princess, she's embodied in the church called the bride. So, you know, many different individuals, maybe you would be the princess, the bride, among many others, and the one prince, the Christ. So I always saw myself as, well, I always wanted and rooted for the prince, and I always, you know, desired, loved the princess, and to, hey, maybe even save her some kind of way. And so, in this case, I model my life after Christ and want and desire to love whoever my true love would be, like Christ loves the church. You know, most people don't have it that it's real. Most people don't have that Jesus is real. But the best thing that I will do, that I'd like to do, is to prove by my actions and my love for someone, especially my beloved, that Christ is real, because I'm exemplifying the works of Christ or the way of Christ. Fairy tales are real, but not the lying, mythical, satanic fairy tales, you know, but crazy wonders and creatures, and a true love story is real because, well, it happened to me. I found my true love. Well, because Christ is the true love of the church. So it is real. So, that's what I have to say about fairy tales. And sometimes I feel like the prince and the pauper, like the pauper, like somewhere I have like a higher self, or in heaven I have a rich me. But right now I'm just, little old me. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please watch my other videos, comment, subscribe, share. God bless.